ZOG Comics review. So you might notice it's not Friday. It is Tuesday. So we switched it up, got all kinds of crazy things going on in this wacky upside down clown world of ours. So we thought, well, let's switch it up. Okay. And here's the funny thing. I was supposed to be interviewed on Friday, which is why we changed this. And then just a little while ago, I got the news that the interview needs to be pushed to Saturday. So, which is fine. You know, we could actually do a double episode this week or something. But I'm sorry, that just struck me right now because I too just came home from work and have that the brain of just got home from work. Anybody know that brain? Anyway, how are you?
The fog is lifting.
Yes,
I'm doing great.
Okay,
how you doing?
Oh, well, I have to say I'm actually pretty good. I just started a Substack, and I'm gonna make $1 million, so I'm all set to go. My future is set. So, what's new in your world?
Oh, nothing much. Just conceiving of ways to save the world. No, not really.
Yeah, well, I am. I mean, that's exactly how I think. It's funny. I had mentioned that to somebody, and just like the stress of trying to save the world, and my friend was like, what are you talking about? Like, are you like, no wonder you're stressed out,
Yeah, you're
And
talking to a comic book artist.
I know, and somehow or other, I have the duty to save the world. So not the whole world, just the white race. That's the main focus,
Well, save the white race, save the world is what I say.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well said. Well said. So that reminds me, actually, there was just a funny conversation. I don't know, last year or something. I was in the city dancing, clubbing, whatever, and there's a lot of liberals in there, like really hardcore city liberals, And there's one dude who just thought I was like the coolest guy ever, and he's like, "Oh, I want to talk to you, pick your brain, da da da." And we're just kind of hanging out, and he's like, "Is there hope for humanity?" And I said, "Which part of humanity?" So, and he was like exasperated when I said that, and
How could you break it up? What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's like, oh, and I was like, well, if you're talking about Western civilization, which is my part of humanity, I would say yes, I do believe there's hope. So, and I mean, I'm hearing a lot of doomsayers out there, and I get it. I know shit's weird and stupid and fake and gay and all that. I know, but I don't know. It's weird. It seems like the worse things get, the better they get. Like there's a strange kind of like I don't know what it is. There must be a word for that. Like it's a kind of thing. I don't know what to call it. Like in some cases it's like, oh, things have to get worse before they get better. But at the same time, as things get worse, more people notice and more people work against it. There's people that are changing. They're changing. They realize, fuck the system. The system is not for me. You gotta fill in the blank. So anyway, what are you drawing today? What is your piece about? What's your page about there, sir?
Oh, this is the next page in Clowns of the Apocalypse 2.
All right. And what's happening in I know you've been watching some who's our guy? David Lynch, and you've been getting into the Lynch mind. You want to talk about that a little bit in terms of how it's been inspiring you?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I guess first off, this he's getting forcibly thrown into the mouth of a clown Moloch.
Nice. Okay.
And he doesn't want to go back to clown world, but it's
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's inevitable. Yeah, I have the sort of the opposite, I guess.
What's that?
Temperament. You're very hopeful, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
It sounds like I've been on Twitter and I've been having to take diets, take social media diets
Oh,
because
social media diets. Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
it definitely gets negative on there, and it's just the endless squabbling and stuff. It just and
Yeah,
myself, I'm guilty of it too. I squabble just as much as everyone else. Well,
squabbler.
my
Go on.
about
Sorry.
my particulars, I guess. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, so yeah, I mean that. I don't think that that is the whole picture. I think that's people squabbling or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
it's toxic. I believe me, I've got my time that I put into that world. I know very well. What it's like to shit lord and blah, blah, blah. You know there's a lot of it for me. It was always just like trying to kind of red pill people and stuff. And I'm at a point now where I feel like the tides have turned, the Overton window has moved, and it's sort of at a place where I don't feel a need to do that anymore. I feel like I
Yes.
can let go of the wheel. There's so many of our guys. We've multiplied so much in the past several years that our guys are already out there working the fields. Working the the battlefields, if you will. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm gonna refocus my attention, my energy on my content, basically,
Yep.
and try to do that. So um, it's the thing that kind of like takes me down is more stuff like, oh, in the news today, a 5-year-old girl was stabbed to death by a Somali or a
Yes.
Guatemalan, and some fucking judge let him off the hook, and like that's the shit that just like crushes me. I'm like, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I mean, I don't have to explain that. It's some ugly,
It's
ugly shit.
almost it's like an endless stream of that kind of stuff where
Yeah.
it's just the idea of justice is just hopelessly lost almost. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Very
that's kind of my take
depressing.
is that like there is no justice for white people, and therefore we have to take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We got to take it ourselves. We got to take it and make it, and that's it. There's nobody's going to stand up for us. No one's going to look out for us. We got to do it ourselves, and I'm not sure what form that'll take. But I feel like it's got to come to a point where that it's not because I said so, but because that's just the nature of it. If people are going to be, you know, like killing us for with no consequence, you know what I'm saying? Then like
Yes.
eventually we're going to stand up and say, I'm fuck this, I'm done with this. And one thing I noticed because I part of my job is working with uh, rural people that live in the countryside, and believe me, they're not having it. They're not. There's zero empathy, sympathy. They don't give two fucks. Like they'll do what they got to do, you know, and they don't care. They don't even care if they go to jail. They're like, you come at me and I'm killing you. Like that's how it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why, like, those are probably the safest places in America right now. Of course, all the
Yeah.
guns
The
as well.
try
So
that in my small town type thing.
yeah, 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 yeah. You nailed it. That literally is it. So there you go, and now you know. Okay, I guess we're moving to the country. No,
Well,
no,
that's
but
how that's
go
sort
ahead.
of how it happens. The
Yeah.
countryside finds out what they're doing downtown or in the cities, and then
Mhm.
the brown shirts gather and then go down there and bust shit
Yeah,
up.
yeah. It's very Fed posty. You know what I'm saying?
Oop. Yeah.
But it's just fine. Don't worry. I mean, I talk crazy shit all the time. It's insane. But I my thinking is that my YouTube is allowed to stay up because my agents are
They're watching
they're
and
allowing me
taking
to
notes.
be. Yeah, they're no, not that. They're kind of watching to see who comes to the chat, and they want to see who they can honeypot. You know what I mean? It's like, okay,
yeah,
this
but
guy is a lightning rod. Let's get, well, just leave him up. Don't bother him. Let him talk. Let him talk. And then, let's see who comes into the fold, and if they can, like, oh, hey, can we send you some instructions? I mean, I
yeah,
don't know. That's a little cynical, but I mean, I'm
they
kind of
love their
surprised.
examples.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. But I could be wrong. I don't know. But
Yeah, the more I look at because I'm going on my David Lynch binge currently,
okay,
and he makes art, right? And
sure.
he believes in the balance, and so he shows the darkness with the good and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm at right now. I just want to. I kind of I've been shit posting for
Mm-hmm.
a long time, and I'm
Oh
almost
yeah,
sort of burnt out with that. And
right.
now I just want to create my art, and I don't have to be explicit necessarily. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Lynch isn't explicit with his work; it's very obscure at times, and there's a
Yeah.
code to it,
Mm-hmm.
and so you don't have to throw it out there. I almost think that
I get you.
his kind of work um, has done a lot of good.
In what way?
Well, in addition to watching the Twin Peaks show and then his other movies, I watched Lost Highway again
Oh
because I
wow, I
remember.
haven't. Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a while.
been a long time since I've seen that film, but yeah, go
I
on.
rented it on VHS from the
Oh,
local
wow, that's cool. Nice.
and I had no idea what the hell was going on. I just thought it was interesting and
Yeah,
baffling. And I watch it
it's
again now, and
still baffling.
it's still baffling. But
Yeah.
I remember it being different. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to revisit a film like that after just sort of watching it once,
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, and then revisiting it. And then, of course, I watch analysis of, what other people are thinking and saying about it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, that makes sense. They've cracked the code.
Well, hit me up, man. Like, give me the spoilers here, buddy. What's it about?
Well, the one guy, what I was listening to was Lynch was obsessed with the O.J. Simpson trial, and he
Oh
was
wow.
thinking about how
Huh.
how someone could just sort of do that and then just go about their day, you know, murder
Yeah.
murder their wife and the man that she's cheating on him with,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't necessarily attribute to Lynch a sort of a racial awareness or anything,
No.
but he came upon a term, and now I can't remember it. It's like a schizogenesis
Oh,
or something like
fascinating.
that,
Fascinating. Okay.
where you become a different person and then you dump
Oof.
all that. You become two different personalities.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a very famous trope, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay.
Very Fight Club-ish type trope.
Interesting. Let's say hello to a couple visitors here. We got some cool folks in the chat. Gondorian Cowboy, howdy. Splatter Cat says Heil. Heil to you as well. Hail to you.
Wow.
We got Robert E. Pyle. Welcome, sir. If you guys, okay, let's move on here. Robert says, hey, you're on Volk, right? I just discovered Volk. Have you guys heard of Volk.com? It's like basically a social media site for white people. So exclusively, don't ask me how that happened, but anyway, I will. I'll probably get on there. I actually posted it on my what's the thing I just got, the Substack. It's one of the first things I posted. Anyway, cat, yep, I'm here. Okay, pile right on. Thought I might remember you from somewhere. I'm on Gab and Twitter too. So like I don't know, Gab to me is just meh. Like I can't really get into Gab. I always feel like it's sort of like Facebook Lite or something. I don't know. For whatever reason I just didn't get like the the bang out of it that I get out of, say, like Twitter or something. But whatever. Anyway, hello to my friends. I got some great friends here, and we're back. So yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, though. You want to continue
Oh,
about what you were talking about? I think it's pretty interesting.
um, not really. I don't remember too much of it except for just that there's a through line throughout the whole thing where there's something. What's going on there is you can sort of connect the dots, and
Yeah.
Lynch has sort of said about it that
Mm.
there you can figure it out, sort of thing. And then I love it when they ask him to elaborate, and he says no. He just simply
Yeah, I know. He's very, very persnickety about that, you know. Um Whatever, that's his prerogative, I guess. But I personally feel that the topic of, like, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, not split personality, but how people behave differently in different situations. They're almost like, people can sort of be two-faced. Um Maybe there's like a sort of a another level here where just in normal life people have a kind of a psychosis of being two-faced. There's a sort of a face you got to wear at work or whatever, where you're just being, polite, and you know how to act, kind of deal. But I don't know, I've just known a certain number of people in my life that were two-faced. There's one person in particular I'm thinking of who I thought was a dear friend. And I came to learn over time that he was really just sort of like playing me, and the friendship was more of a ruse in a way. And there was another mutual friend was in a group text, and this one particular friend called me delusional in the group text. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I was so shocked because I felt like I didn't even know who this guy is anymore. Like, how could you be so two-faced? Like, what? I don't get it. Like, why would you pretend to be somebody that you're not? To me, that there's a certain psychosis to that, or at least a neurosis. Um, I
derive
don't know.
benefit. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I suppose people do it all the time with their online avatars, or the kind of catfish girls, and just the who knows what is all through life is just people trying to, you know, show one side, and then you don't really know what's underneath. But I mean, I knew this guy for a long, long time though, and then for that to happen was
Yeah.
extremely. I'm not really. I'm being vague. I'm not actually telling the details of the situation, but
Oh no, don't.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was shocking. I'm still shocked at it, to be honest.
I've
Um,
yeah.
Might be something
I,
there though.
I think it's the medium of the internet almost. I mean, not entirely because not
Mm-mm.
everybody does that sort of thing, but I had a
Mm.
major betrayal of someone that I thought was a friend for like 3 years, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden
Oh boy.
it like flipped, you know,
Wow.
kind of thing. And I didn't
Mm.
see it coming, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's.
there's it was
Yeah.
just all of a sudden a different person, and I didn't understand. And
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
guess he fully embraced the new dynamic between us at that point. That so
Okay.
it was like there's no persuading him otherwise. And once it's interesting how people go so far once they've made that decision.
Yeah.
It's almost like they want you to remember them in such a negative and almost traumatizing, I guess, kind of way. The way
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
portray you, and it's like an entertainment
Ugh,
product for them to
that's
do it.
disturbing. No, you're right. That there's something about that.
It's
Um,
gossip. Yeah, it's self-perpetuating gossip stuff, and it's the
this
nature
is
of the
really.
internet.
It hurts badly. Like, it really, really hurts. It's I don't know. I'm not. I just can't. I'm not that guy. Like, I can't. I'm just me. Take me or leave me. You know what I mean? And people who, pretend to be your friend for fucking years, only to kind of turn around and say like, "Oh, you're delusional." Like, delusional. Again, I'm not giving the true context of what I'm talking about here, but and there's way more to it that I have to leave out. But in the end, I literally did say, "Hey, like, I'm not like I'm. This isn't like." I don't understand what's going on here. Like, I wish that you could be more upfront or honest or something. But anyway, so people do that kind of shit, and it's out there, But anyway, ZOG Comics Review, ladies and gentlemen. We ask the deep questions, the hard questions. Why do people betray each other? That kind of opens up a can of worms in terms of, like, I feel like whites have been taught to be, law-abiding citizens, good Christian morals, all of this stuff. And then in the end of the day, it's the criminals and scumbags and neurotics that win, that they get the benefit out of that. They get to be like, all right, yeah, you go ahead and do that. And while I'm over here ripping off people and fucking people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, there was a time in my life where I was kind of like, what's the point in being good? Like, why be good when, like, you're in a world of criminals? They don't have any morality. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I just lost my headset. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties.
Oh, you and your technical difficulty. I hate when that happens. That's the bane of my existence. But that and TV commercials. But, so here we are in the. Oh wow! You just dropped out. Fascinating. Wild. I tell you, man. This is truly ZOG Comics Review when your guest just drops off on you. It appears that I'm still live. You guys in the chat, could you? Oh, you're back. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My headset.
Yeah.
My headset informed me that it was 10%, and then I plugged it in, thinking that I could plug it in at the same time as using it, and it just it doesn't allow you to do that. I forgot about that. But I'm back. I think that they set up the system in a way that favors, like, hypocrites and scoundrels. I mean,
yes.
And it obviously just rewards them. I mean, look at who is it? The top 1% right now is Zuckerberg, Musk, and Bezos, and they've got the ear of the president. And what is he doing with it? Or he's benefiting the billionaires. He's cutting taxes for the billionaires, and he's increasing military spending. Whereas, like,
for what?
If you were for Israel.
Well, we'll see. I mean, obviously that I agree with, but so we know about the Greater Israel Project, and we know that America is supposed to be the country that goes in and does the dirty work. It's going to be the blood of our sons, on Iranian soil and all that, and blah blah blah. So I'm trying to see, like, well, how's Trump going to play that? He's sort of like the anti-war president, and he's trying to, like, stop the war in Ukraine and this and that. So you see where I'm going with this? Like, how is he gonna appease Netanyahu and his constituency? How is he going to do that? So go ahead.
I think that he's going to have to manufacture some consent
among us. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, there's got to right. I mean, people are saying Christian nationalism is the small hats big plan. They want to, like, push the Christian nationalism thing and be like, oh, the Holy Land, ooh, la, 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 and get everybody like, oh, all the young white men all the young white Christians from the countryside are going to sign up.
Dave's Volt.
Yes, and they can kill off another generation of whites through this fake narrative. I don't know. I mean, I think there's definitely some people that'll buy into that. But I don't know. As far as I can tell, I don't see that really taking hold.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he's
What
not
do you
successful
think?
with everything that he tries.
Yeah.
Like he said that we're gonna go in there and take Gaza, and then that just fell through. like we're gonna go in there and we're just gonna take it, and then Hamas just said no, and then he tried to do that that play with the president of Jordan, or the prime minister, or whatever he is, with Jordan, and springing on him that they're going to take him, and he just ended up like blinking hard and being non-committal. Like he kind of just sprang it on him in the middle of a press conference.
Press conference. He seems to do that. He likes to drop bombs like that.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of scoundrelly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because I'm not paying as much attention to Trump recently as I am just other stuff. I think for me right now, the focus is Elon Musk. Just how dirty he is and how like fake he is, and how people are just eating him up. They're just eating him up, and they, like, Musk is our guy. How he's out of nowhere now he's saying all the things that we've always said. And he's all like, oh yeah, we got to support all these causes and shit that are all right wing, this and that. And I'm like, how is it that like now you care about those things? Like what's the, and it's that like popular, it's the fake right. It's somebody came up with the term alt ZOG, like alt right, alt ZOG. The thing is, there's really not, the average person is nowhere near as like informed and savvy as the alt right is, the dissident right. I mean, this is what we do. Like we're in it all day, every day. And then you got the gatekeepers, and the landscape of politics and media right now is very intense. There's a lot of vying for narrative attention, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what they're entirely obsessed with. Yeah, they're completely absorbed with constructing some kinds of narratives, or at least having people check out by splintering off into like nonsense groups and squabbling about this or that kind of thing.
Yeah. I guess time is going to tell how things are going to kind of play out, but I don't know.
Hopefully people are just jaded with the whole thing and just don't draw a hard line as a principle of like no more war for Israel.
Yeah, I mean, no more war at all. I mean, the war that we're fighting is getting the fucking illegals out. The war we're fighting is getting like the Democrats out and getting that whole deep state fucking shit cleaned up. And I think Doge seems to be the only good thing going on, even though it's a sleight of hand in the sense that, like, if you're cutting spending or this and that, then why the fuck are we sending all that money to Israel?
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
a huge contradiction there.
Yeah, massively. It's stupid, but so I'm not gonna poo-poo the good stuff. I think that's fine. We'll see. I remember the other day I was out bowling, and there were some kind of like sort of old dudes, like boomer guys, just hanging out and doing their bowling and talking and stuff. And one of the dudes in the crew was like the guy who was like the based loudmouth guy, who like has really strong opinions and is not afraid to like say them in public.
Yeah, I don't care
and
who hears me.
yeah, and like, you know, if you liberals be damned kind of thing, like I'm gonna speak loud and proud about XYZ. And you know, he was cool actually. He was fine or whatever. I kind of gave him a, you know, a nod or something or this and that. And but I was listening quite carefully, like where is this guy's head? Like where is he on the spectrum? What does he know? What doesn't he know? You know, and they're still pretty much focused on just the regular economic things. They're really upset about the immigrants. Like that's which is huge. Like, we want that. You know, we want boomers
Yeah.
to give a fuck about the replacement issue. You know, even though they can't talk about race explicitly or something. You know, so but
Yeah.
but all I'm saying is I just think that's a good sign that things are kind of moving in the right direction. You
That's the main. That's the key issue, and it has been since 2015. That's what got him elected, Trump, and that's
know?
that's that's his incentive as far as the American people are concerned.
Mhm.
Everything else is distraction or window dressing
Yeah,
or just something
sorry.
else.
I need to find some form of resource that shows like the actual numbers of deportations. You know, because I think there's a lot of talk, but I don't know what the data is on it. You know what I'm saying?
I heard that it's
Like,
less than Biden, and it's less than Bush,
oh God.
even. And that what he's just doing is just televising it, so people. That's what I think. I think it's a lot of it is just sort of content for people that were expecting something. A lot of the satiating the constituents really is just him putting on a show. And then
Mhm.
now that we've gotten that out of the way, where he really didn't do much of anything, and now it's time for talk about Israel.
At APAC, he says, you know, people need to love Israel more. You know, like it's just, to
Yeah,
me though, it smacks of like a salesman who's trying to suck up to his customer. You know what I mean? And be like, you know, how can I make sure I'm getting my money? You know, I'm gonna like compliment you and say what you want to hear, and you know, it's just gross. You know, it's really gross.
he wants his cult of personality to
Oh yeah.
come through and have a lot more like swaying power than it does. But really, maybe just maybe just the boomers like to hear and watch, and then but they don't really get too excited about it because
I don't know.
they've got their based grandsons coming over and telling them that it's all bullshit, and they sort of see it, but they still like
Right.
the shit.
Right. So that's kind of what I'm doing like on my job when I'm hanging out with my country folks. Is I'll very delicately say, okay, well, this is what's really going on. And you know, and try just without upsetting anybody, you know, saying
Yeah,
like, okay, here's the real deal. Let me translate to you what's happening. And then when I do that, they're like, wow, oh my God, mind blown, you know. And that's kind of a neat moment for them to be like, wow, so that's how the media works. That's how the machine works. You know, like they tell you one thing, but it's, you know, covering up this other thing or something. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um,
It's almost like
but
they just need that push, that permission given that they
it
can.
that's really well said. They need the permission. They need somebody to kind of like just lead the way. I mean, I think this is one of the attributes of whites in general, kind of, is sort of like they don't want to go against the grain. You know, they don't want to create like social disharmony. Does that make sense? You know, so I think
Yeah,
that
it's all about.
yeah,
That's what it's all about. It's just being acceptable,
yeah,
being accepted by their group, their community.
yeah, doing what's right. You know, that's pretty much the thinking, I would say. But yeah, so I was on a show last night. Yiz is a woman who does shows for the Jason Kuna No White Guilt community. don't know if you're familiar with them at all.
Yes, white well-being. The white
Yes,
well-being.
that is exactly right. Yeah. So she's got a couple shows that she does. She's pretty much invested herself in doing it like full time now. I don't know how long she'll do it, but it's whatever. That's what it is. So I was on there with, I don't know if you've ever heard of Charlemagne. He's just like one of these influencers out there, and so it was kind of not such a small deal to be on the same show with him. That was kind of cool. And later somebody in Yiz's Telegram was like, Donald was on fire last night. So I kind of had a little bit of laugh about that, because most of the guys on the show are like these academics, they're like guys that are really smart and well informed, but like, to me, that's like trapped in the world of factoids, kind of. Do you know the type I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mean the type I'm talking. I don't mean to be condescending. I can't, these guys are smarter than me. Um, not, I don't know, smarter as they know more than I, but and it's good. It's really, really good to be informed and by people who are super bright, and but then I also have this kind of like, mm, where's the other stuff? Like, where's the culture? You know what I mean? What are we doing? Like, we are a culture, and we're our own culture. We're doing our own thing. But I don't know. I just always feel like, isn't there more? That's if I'm known for anything, or I should be known for that kind of like, isn't there more? Like, when and how are we ever going to get this ship off the ground? And like get the tides to really change. I don't know. What do you think?
I have a story that I've been working on, and it's about like this sort of godlike creature
Mm,
that finds a way to communicate with humans,
mm,
through space, and
mm.
it sort of turns them into a kind of hive mind and like almost zombie type people. So the first part of it is very scary. This guy does like he's a delivery driver and he like encounters these people, but
Yeah.
then we find out like there's a group like a Scientologist type organization that is in contact with this entity, this consciousness, and he's
Wow.
like having dreams and stuff. And
Wow.
it just to give it all away because it's way in the future. He
Yeah.
wants to equip the human race with the ability to for space travel, so they can go to where the entity is. And in
Ah.
order to do that, he funds or he like enables like people to tap into this like hive mind kind of thing as if
Wow.
like it's
Wow.
a superpower,
Cool.
and foments a like a white nationalist revolution
Oh my
because
god, that's fucking awesome. Get
because
on that straight
he,
away. Oh my
he
god, I love
determines
it.
that the only way that he's going to get all the the humans, and he wants like the whites pretty much
Yeah.
out there, is to enable and the whites to take back the like the
Oh,
entire planet.
that's amazing, dude. I love that. There's a
Yeah.
lot of comments, dude. I'm really, really crazy about that idea. But let me catch up on some comments. There's like a million comments here, and we got the best people in the chat, the best, very best people. So let's go back here. We got Robert Pyle, Splattercat. I see you on Odyssey. Hey, Andon, welcome back, Andon. Yeah, I'm there too. I'm a streamer over there. That's right. Check out Robert Pyle's streams on Odyssey. I don't always repost his link, but he does a lot of shows. Um, let's see, Splatter Cat. Da, da, da. Hi, Don from Alex. I'm not sure if you remember me, but I followed your Twitter back in late 2021. Did you follow the Donald Kent Twitter or the Amerizera Twitter? Amerizera it's kind of on lockdown because of some harassment issues that I had. So I went and started a Donald Kent. Anyway, I don't know which one you're on, but I'm happy to have you here, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us. Moving on. Do you remember when Alex Jones tried to adapt the alt-right and backed out like hell when he realized it was anti-Jewish?
Yeah.
Can somebody tell us what's going on with Alex Jones? Like, is
Oh,
that
is those Zempla?
I think is he a clone now? Do we have Clone Jones now? Clone Jones, dude, that could be a character in one of our comics, dude. Clone Jones, holy shit! I don't know what the fuck is going on with that guy. It's like, I don't know. I've lost. I don't know where he is anymore. Alex says, I was deeply sorry to hear about your mother's passing 2 years ago, and my thoughts have remained with you. I still haven't forgotten those bureaucrats, what those bureaucrats did to us. Alex, I live that pain every day. I was just crying driving home from work in the car today because I heard a song that reminded me of my mother, and her presence is with me all the time. I've had many amazing paranormal experiences in which I've both in my dreams and in physical reality where I know that she's in touch with me, and that's deeply comforting. What's happened is that my spiritual life has expanded dramatically because of these paranormal experiences. And so I kind of think this is really, it's kind of making something beautiful out of something very sad. So I just want to share that with you. And I want to say, God bless you. I love you. Thank you so much for caring and thinking about me, because I'm still grieving heavily. Robert Pyle says, nobody really uses the term alt-right anymore. Even white nationalists and, I don't know, white identitarians have abandoned the term. I always loved the term, oh, the alt-right. It was so cool back in the day. And I don't know, eventually, for some reason, Richard Spencer just like poo-pooed it, and then like everybody stopped using it. But I still think it's a cool term. Better than alt-ZOG anyway. Ding. So moving on. You were great. Oh, regarding my presence on Discordant Dragons last night. Gondorian says, you are great, Donald. Always tune in when Yiz brings you on. That's a true fan right there. God bless you, man. I love you. Thanks for doing that. I really appreciate that. And I agree, culture, intellect, both are necessary. You got to have a good balance. And we have too much intellect and too much talk. We need more culture, more fun, more music, more art, more community-based stuff. And, once I'm a millionaire, I'll be doing all of that, okay? And you'll all be invited to the party. And my main man, CG, is here. CG on the Warcast is always putting out quality information with our buddy Dirty D. These guys are a lot of fun to listen to. They do a fun show. If you can tune in, it's a little late for me where I'm on the East Coast. I think you guys are on the West Coast, so I don't get to see it as much as I'd like to. But super hard plug for these guys. They're fabulous. Check out the Warcast. If you want to put a link in there, CG, go ahead. Sounds awesome. Victorian says, your friends at Farsight stated a study. Oh, Hippocratic Oath is here. Very, very, very close friend. Your friends at Farsight stated a study by the Russians that people are more telepathic in space. So what is Farsight? That is an organization of people who do remote viewing. It's very interesting. The space thing is fascinating. That, when you say, I could go off in a wicked crazy rabbit hole on this topic right now, because my studies in, what's it called, astral projection and Gnosticism indicate that there is a kind of force field around the earth that traps souls here in a reincarnation cycle, and that's another topic. Let's talk about a rabbit hole. And so, like, having like more psychic ability in space, it sends off some red flags for me, like, okay, in what way, how does it connect to my other studies? So I don't know, that's probably a conversation for Telegram. So they speculate there is a suppression field on Earth that weakens as you get further away. Holy shit. I mean, I was just talking about something of that nature, and I didn't read your next comment until now. So do you see how that could be connected? Fascinating. Let's see. Ozempic is a hell of a drug, Alex Jones. Shit, man. Anyway, there he goes. So, Robert says the TRS guys also had a big hand in everyone abandoning the term alt-right. What's going on with the TRS guys? Are they around? What's happening with the NJP guys? So I've totally lost track of NJP and what's going on. You want to comment on that?
Oh, I listen to the TRS like every day.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
They consider the term alt-right to just be a sort of psyop kind of deal to get Trump elected, as sort of like it was like totally invented, fomented, perpetrated by like Roger Stone and Roy Cohn and sort of those characters.
Roy Cohn. Damn, man, that's fucking disgusting. Gay Jew.
I think so. If I'm not mistaken. But then to get Trump elected, it was a totally single-minded sort of effort, and it drew in and it used anti-Semitism in order to do that.
No shit. Fascinating. I heard the term was actually created by a Jewish guy, but I can't remember what his name was. In some way, Richard Spencer was affiliated with him at some point. I'm not saying Spencer is like working for the Jews. I'm not saying that. It was just some sort of connection at a time when I don't know that we weren't really that plugged in on the JQ back then, I think. But I don't know. This is all speculation, by the way. So yeah.
His name is right on the tip of my brain.
CG says, yeah, we had a fire interview last night. A fire interview. Tell me more. U.S. volunteer back from Ukraine. Whoa, that must have been intense. Victorian Time Traveler says February is Space Pioneer Month. Some people think it's Black History, and that's a misconception. It's black as in the void of space. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, but okay, there you are, and there you go, and now you know. The NJP disbanded. They are no longer a thing. That's due to that. Like, I think it was. I can't even say his name. Pechevnik.
Penovich?
I was Penovich. I just call him Enoch. Because I know him as Enoch, so I don't call him Penovich. Mike Enoch. So like, was it him that mismanaged the money or something? I don't know. I don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just have to warn you. My headset is. I should have charged it beforehand. It's just telling me every once in a while, cutting in and telling me that my battery is low. So I apologize if I just all of a sudden disappear.
You know what? Well, we'll live with it. We'll work on it. CG's saying, want me to come on? And I would say yes. So here's the trick of that, though. What I've discovered with YouTube is that if I click off the screen to do the DDs that I got to do and get you the link over to, say, Telegram, then I'm afraid YouTube will shut off the show. I think the thing to do, what I should have sent you the link ahead of time. I'm using my phone. It's just, if I could try. I don't know. I think what we should maybe do is just, I don't know, maybe just do a show or something, and like have you on. I stream almost every night. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing this comic stuff almost every night, and I'd absolutely love to have you on, bro. And Dirty D for that matter. That would be a lot of fun. You guys are a blast. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I'm afraid I kind of don't want to screw it up, and we're already sort of having some tech issues with Dillard's business over there. But why don't we talk to me on Telegram? We'll figure that out. StreamYards can't support me. Well, I'm not on StreamYard. I'm on YouTube, and YouTube has like a join link, where if you want someone to come on the show, you share a link and they join you. But I because like earlier tonight, I was trying to get that same link to Dillard, and I noticed that it like shut me off, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, obviously I had to go away to get the link to this other person. It's like whoever invented this is an idiot, you know. Or I could take a chance and Skype. So like I say, I'm on my phone doing the show through YouTube, so I don't really know how to handle that. However, tomorrow night, what's tomorrow night? Wednesday? I don't believe I have anything. We could do that. You want to set that up? I don't know what your schedule is. Have your people talk to my people. We'll set something up. Sorry. I'm trying to work on my Jewish accent. I think I need to get better.
God.
Oh, God. Have your people call me. You know, it's just really more
Call me.
like a Brooklyn accent, you know. Yeah. Anyway.
But real quick on the NJP, they were
Yes.
getting hit hard because they were doing activism. They were doing, you know, IRL activism.
Yeah.
Why do I keep saying activism? And then sort of everybody within the NJP started just turning on each other, and it got real nasty at some point because they were getting pressure from the outside, people trying to infiltrate people. And and as it turned out, it was mismanaged, you know. And then Sven went on a tirade from TRS, said he was never really into it, didn't think that it was going to work out, but agreed nonetheless to keep his mouth shut and be sort of the propaganda wing of it.
Okay.
And then once it fell apart and was disillusioned, that was it. that was, you know, it just went away, and I was very saddened by it.
Right, I know a lot of people that were really, really very. They were affected by it badly. Like, it was very upsetting. I'm obviously not happy to see anyone in our movement fail in any kind of way. You know, I this is our stuff. My takeaway, and this is my opinion. No one has to agree with me. This is just my opinion, and I'm putting it out there. Is that I think that there is a kind of bully culture that existed in, and maybe possibly still exists within our movement. We just kind of have a lot of like really hot-headed guys that are very, very, I don't know what the word. Well, I want to say that like they kind of, there's got to be a word for this. It's not gatekeeping. It's like enforcing the status quo, and they kind of compete to see who has the hotter take, or the more based way of thinking. I see it kind of like something like a high school type culture. You know, the kind of locker room bully, that type of.
Maybe like a toxic competition type thing.
Yeah, it's a very masculine, toxic kind of thing, and it's a type of thing you might see a lot in, say, maybe the military or in sports or something of that nature. And it's just a guy thing, you know what I mean? And like we're in fucking serious trouble. We're constantly dealing with like horrible dangers and terrible things happening to our people. And we're the only fucking people out here taking risks to do anything about it. So we're stressed out to begin with. You see what I'm saying? And then we go after each other, and that's wrong. I'm so like I've never really felt at home in the culture of NJP in that regard. You know what I'm saying? And I think that what this sort of failure of NJP seems to me, in my limited opinion and view, that it has a lot to do with this kind of bullying mentality. You have to put the movement first. You have to have some level of control over your ego and your temper, whereby you're not sabotaging your own fucking issues, your own groups, your own people. You know, am I right in saying that in any way?
Well, in the end, it sort of did just become competing views and competing you know, agendas, and you know, my way or your way, and then it became, you know, almost like factions forming and
Yeah.
and egos kind of like going at each other. Like everybody
So
sort of
I was
wanted
right.
to be in charge. Yeah.
So I was right. So this is my point. Um, it's.
And when
Go ahead.
oh,
Well,
just
you.
when people aren't on the same page, it people start
Mhm.
butting heads, and then from
Right.
there it's just an avalanche or snowballing of bad blood.
Yeah.
And so there you go.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole culture of it was always very bullying. It was always like insulting people about this or that, and not. I mean, it could be other people on the right. It's just like if you're, it was hostile, is essentially what I'm saying. Which is why I was invited to a lot of NJP meetings, and I ended up never going. Not because I don't support them, I do, and I specifically like people like Balo and
Oh,
uh,
Warren Balog is awesome.
and yeah, and Stryker. Like I think these guys are fabulous, but I don't know. I just didn't. It just kind of didn't hit me the right way, and I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. It's just like I simply hope that people will take what I just said and look at it constructively and say like, okay, what did we learn from that? Let's reband, because all the guys and the followers of NJP, we're still here. You know what I mean? Like we didn't just like
Yeah.
stop. We didn't leave the movement. It's just that NJP isn't there anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we kind of have to recalibrate and like find a way to utilize to bring together all those people, all those resources, and do something again. What and how and under what leadership and this and that. I don't know that I'm the guy to say that. I mean, I think I could be if I set my mind to it. And I would, to be honest, I wouldn't. I'd like to be that guy, not out of like some megalomaniac agenda. It's not that. Rather, it would be nice to see real progress. But like, if you were to take the average person and say, "Oh, here, listen to this TRS episode or this NJP meeting or meetup, something," I think they'd be kind of terrified. I think they'd be a bit horrified at like, "Holy shit, these guys are radical," and that's fine. That's totally fine. I'm not put off by that, but how is it helping us? You get my point. If
Yeah.
we can't really appeal to normies, and it's just appealing to sort of radicals or whatever, you see how limiting that is. It's not actually solving our problems. Am I
Well,
wrong? Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Somebody push back on me, please. Like, show me
I
where I'm
think
wrong.
I think it's refreshing just to hear people say it like how they see it, and you're gonna find when they started doing like TRS, like people glommed on and joined because or listened because they just didn't hold back. They
Yeah.
didn't preface what they're
Yeah.
about to say,
Good.
with anything. They just went right for it, and
It's just very honest and genuine. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like that's they built a
Refreshing.
culture,
Yeah. It's
but
refreshing. Yeah.
it is a radio show, and
Yeah.
what NJP was and it was an activist organization, and I think we
Mhm.
need an activist organization,
We do.
but to marry it to such a like, I mean, they famously, I heard them on Red Ice Radio back
Mhm.
in like 2016,
Okay.
and they openly say that they're like an Opie and Anthony type radio show for white nationalism. Do you
Okay.
know? Are you aware of Opie and Anthony? You ever listen to
No,
Opie?
I'm not. I've heard of it, but I can't say I know what that is actually.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's like a shock jock. It's like they
Oh, okay.
pioneered along
Shock
with
jock.
like
Yeah. Okay.
Howard Stern, like
Okay.
shock jock type
I
stuff. But
totally
like
get it. Totally get it. Yeah.
Anthony Cumier is pretty much our guy. He actually spoke at American Renaissance, I think this
Oh,
year or last
cool.
year.
Very cool.
Yeah, so he's just outwardly just, and he does compound media. He does his own thing. I mean, he's an older fella now, but
Okay.
but he had done, he kind of pioneered that whole. It was like a podcast before podcasts exist because they were on Sirius
Oh,
SM or XM,
yes.
so they could
Yes.
just say whatever they want. And their big thing was free speech, and they got crass and
Oh yeah. Okay, there you go. There you go.
degenerate at times.
So okay, this is what I want to. This is where I'm plugging in. Is like that versus Amarin. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
Amarin is like older dudes
Very
in
southern,
suits.
gentlemanly.
Yeah, the dudes in suits with like PowerPoints and data and books, and like that is appealing to normies. That's something that the common man could look at and say like, okay, well, these guys, maybe some of this stuff is controversial, but I can respect them. It's not potty mouth time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't vibe with potty mouth. I don't know. I look down on that kind of culture. I hate it, to be frank with you. So that's
the culture is very vulgar, and to like talk about it is almost like unavoidably you kind of have to be vulgar just to explain like what is training cert, like whatever it is going on that has been so normalized in the culture. Just to address it is sort of to open that can of vulgarity.
Mm-hmm.
Just to describe what's like a top movie, even you have to like almost like gut there, like a Tarantino movie. Like, whoa, what's that about? It's very vulgar.
Well, it is what it is. That's all I can kind of say. And it's like it's just one brand of many that are out there. Like
Yeah.
you can tune into Mark Collette, you can tune into White Rabbit Radio, Red Ice Radio. There's lots of cultures out there, lots of brands or flavors, if you will, of white positive, even white nationalist media. So I make some distinction between white nationalists and white positive, but they're probably really not different. One is maybe just sanitized for public consumption. But anyway, that's a good question, dude. Does that make any sense? Is it all the same deal? It just has different packaging.
Yeah, I think if your aim is to outreach instead of cultivate a sort of in-group kind of fan base that is attuned to your personality, because that's what they are. I see them as personalities. It's like a friend simulator type thing.
A friend simulator. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go back and do some chats. Oh, there's not a lot. Okay. Victorian says you tighten your upper chest and put an extra W in every sentence. That's how you do a Jewy accent. Oh, a Jewy, you tighten up your upper chest and put an extra W in every sentence. No, I don't. I'm gonna have to listen to some samples or something.
Oh my God!
Oh God!
You gotta
Shut
be
it
kidding
down.
me.
Shut it down. No, I mean maybe if I spent more time in like Brooklyn tunnels, that could help. That
Ooh,
get,
I don't
just
recommend it.
just you got to be among the natives to really pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Splattercat says I have experienced it the most many years ago in the National Alliance. It was pretty bad. Shit, that's hard to hear. I love the National Alliance. I should say I love the website. The website's extraordinary. Like what a resource. Holy heaven. Hippocratic Oath says the Jays speak in questions as well. You want I should explain more? Yeah, that's actually kind of a fun way to do it. So it's exhausting. I mean, so much is at stake. And there's no fucking handbook that tells you how to do this stuff. Like I remember, and when I first came into all of this stuff in like 2016, I believe it or not, I saw Richard Spencer on I think Fox News. And how did he get on Fox News? I don't know. And it was just like, well, today we have an interesting guest. He's about white culture, and so tell us more about yourself, Mr. Spencer. Not knowing who he was, he hadn't become who we know him to be quite yet, or they unwittingly had him on, not knowing who he is. I think he probably was who he was, but Fox News didn't know that at the time. And I just was like taking a lunch break from freelance work and sat down in front of the TV and I saw this Richard Spencer guy. I'm like, I listened to him like, fuck yeah, man. I love this guy's message. Like, shit, yeah, of course, white people should be totally proud and this, that, and the other thing, bim, bam, boom. And like right after the show, after lunch, I looked him up on the internet, and the rest is history. So, you know, and then that led me to Amren, uh, you know, Uncle Jared Taylor, the father of us all. And I started to realize, like, holy shit, I've stumbled upon something really dangerous, but also really, like, it's deeply, deeply resonating with me. I can't let my family know that I'm watching this content. I can't let my friends know. I mean, shit, I don't know. This is so, but the dangerousness of learning about, you know, white identity and all that was part of the thrill of it too, right? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just felt so cool to be like, wow, there's a thing for us. This is a thing for us. We can be a part of a thing, you know. It's a culture. There's a history. There's more and more and more, and you just keep unveiling and unwrapping and going deeper and learning more, and it just snowballed. It just that's how I became Donald Kent, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm off topic here, what we're even talking about anymore, but that was a
No,
fun experience, you know. That
I was
actually would. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
I
I'm
was just
hogging
gonna
the
say,
mic.
well, just real quick, I was into the whole libertarian stuff, and I actually was a
Mhm.
listener of Christopher Cantwell in New Hampshire, and I lived in
Okay, sure.
Massachusetts at the time,
Oh,
and I
okay.
followed him from sort of libertarianism to, you know, he was in a nascent stage of sort of white nationalism at that point,
Wow.
but
Okay.
moving
Okay.
towards like a paleoconservatism.
Okay.
Um, and what was interesting to me, because then I was also watching Red Ice Radio, and they made the change, you know, shortly thereafter, and then they
Okay.
started putting out, you know, on Radio 314 or 314, I forget, it
Mm,
was the Lana's show. They were doing
okay.
Holocaust.
Oh boy.
And that was like the huge one. And it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, these are taboos. I was already like going
Yeah.
through and like, there's something not right. I'm gonna investigate, you know,
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
I'm told I'm supposed to not to just because.
Right. Right. Yeah. Like, don't question that. Don't uncover that. Don't. You know.
Yeah, don't
Holy
touch that
shit.
third rail or
Yeah. Oh boy. That's a good way to call it.
danger zone.
Oh gosh, it's so exciting though. It's really I watched every single Amren video in existence. I made it like a religion. I scoured the internet for hundreds of hours to find every single one because I just could not get enough of this content. And somehow or other, I heard about the White Art Collective, and I flew into there like a fucking airplane into the World Trade Center. I just like crashed right into there. I'm like, my people, this, you know, this is the shit. This like I have found my homeland, you know. The rest is history there. Let me read some comments. Victorian, imagine that you are trying to stop yourself from speaking and you have to force it out. Like there's a dam holding in your words and it's spurting out through the cracks. Yes, that's a pretty cool analogy. Um, Time Traveler says the point of white positive stuff is that it's something that you don't have to hide from your family. So this is the this is kind of this is a kind of everything I want to say is that it's time now. It is time. It's, you know, coddling, lying, protecting, holding back. Don't be fucking shy anymore. Like my Instagram crosses the line between Donald Kent and my normie life, and I'm fucking J posting full on, you know, and people are loving it. They're like eating it up and eating it up. And like, this guy is saying everything that we can't say, like, holy shit. And they're just flocking to it. So it's cool. It's really amazing. Times are changing and we are the ones that have to do it. We are the ones equipped to do it. We got to get out there and push it into the normie sphere, into real life. The point of the white positive stuff is it looks like Militia Man can't breathe. St. George Floyd. Here our prayer. So just for whatever's I have so many pages. They're penciled though. Like I'm really, really backed up. But I'll kind of do a little story here of where we're at in the story. I'll back out and let you guys know what's going on. And so Westguard and Militiaman they don't even know it yet in the story, but they're actually brothers. And this is their dad. This is a long story. It's a subplot. But this guy's kind of like sort of like a fascist superhero, whereas Militiaman is the normie Captain America guy. And Westguard, he's a defector. He left Judeo-Christian News. He left MAGA Force, and that's a whole other thing. So they're trying to talk it out and say, like, look, there's this protest going on. You have these kind of people that are killing patriots, like they're literally stabbing and beating them to death. And then Westguard is like, yeah, and where the fuck are you? You're supposed to be protecting them. There's no justice for white people. We that's why we're here, and you're a fucking fool. Oh no, don't worry, the police will handle it. No, rule of law. I'm not racist. And this guy's like, you're fucking idiot. You're a piece of shit. You're not. You're fake. And so and then they get interrupted by this Muslim superhero who's like the new diversity hire on the new MAGA force. And he's like, back off, militiaman. I'm going to take down this Nazi. And he's like, no, wait, stop. And then my guy here, Westguard, he says, you heard your superior, stand down, and slams him into the ground with his axe. Well, Muzzy here, he explodes, and there's a big explosion. All kinds of shit goes down. There's a whole side story here where one of the other characters gets injured in the explosion, and that's Westguard's wife. Actually, she just had a baby. That's a whole other plot. You'd better tune in to find out what happens. Anyway, now he's like, fuck that shit. You get the fuck out of here, blah, 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 blah. And they start fighting. But there's this other superhero on Fash Force called Song of the South, or SOS. And he jumps in and he says, we got to get out of here. He kind of grabs Militiaman temporarily. But Militiaman is too strong. You can't see it. It's in pencil. He throws SOS at Westguard. They crash into a car. I don't know. Can you guys even see what I'm showing you? I hope you can. But anyway, Westguard and the rest of them, they escape. And so there's much more Donald Kent art to come. So, wow, that was quite exciting, wasn't it? Any questions? There's going to be a quiz on Friday, so please hand in your homework at the end of class. Dillard, please take the mic away from me, man. I'm just a total hog. Say something interesting.
Well, I've been inspired by you to do pencil pages in advance. I've been doing page at a time.
Okay.
And it's sort of like a snail's pace, and I lose continuity, like with little details, like with the cops' outfits and stuff.
Yeah, I know how that works. That's hard.
There's that.
Part. Yeah.
And also, I asked you a little while ago. I saw you using your pen, and I was like, there's Excalibur. I see it now.
Excalibur?
And so I thought, I'm always like, I'm missing a tool that is important, or that's the missing link. Element. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So I ordered like 5 of them naturally.
Oh, sweet. Yes, that's the way to go, bro. They dry out pretty quick, man. With doing the work we do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Also, this is the best eraser for pencils. I mean inks.
What's that? Oh, for
it
inks?
Is
really?
It's the Faber-Castell, because I've been searching for.
Okay. Oh wow.
I think I threw them like far away from me. Like, there's this one. It just rips the ink off, so I have to. I actually end up re-inking. But this one,
not good.
It just takes the pencil off, and it's really beautiful.
So that's like art nerd stuff right there. As you can see, I penciled the page, but then later, this is the unglamorous side of what I do. I've got to go in here with an eraser and get that excess pencil out. You can go into Photoshop and tweak it, like push up the contrast. If your pencils are very light, because if you notice, I use like a super light pencil. What kind is 4H? 4H, yeah.
4H. Okay.
So I was in 4H as a kid. Anyway, so anyway, there you go, and now you know. A couple more chats. I've experienced it. National. Looks. Ha ha ha. I can't wait until this comic comes out, dude. Oh, okay. So here's the story with the comic. I just started a, what the fuck do you call it? Substack. I want to say StreamYard. Substack. My English not good. So what am I going to do with it? I will have a paywall. There's for people who subscribe. I'm going to have these pages lettered, and depending on the money and this and that, I'll have them colored as well. Coloring is very expensive. I'm going to have to do some kind of, who fucking knows? I'll figure that out. But long story short is I'll put like maybe 5 pages out for free, and then, funnel that to like a subscribe button. And then behind the paywall, you'll get the actual story. So you don't have to buy it. You buy the subscription. And then every week I'll upload a couple more pages with the lettering on it. And you can just weekly, like a TV show or something, you can come and read the story and follow the story, see how it's going. So at the end, when I'm done with this book is, God, 120 pages, 130 pages. I will publish it. I will publish it, and then that's a whole new world right there. If I get enough subscribers where I can quit my job and do this full time, then I can I could get this done a lot faster and even do more stuff. But there you go, and there you know. Yeah, so that's it. Maybe we should have like a Clown World crossover,
Ooh,
that's like Marvel and DC would do like Clown World Maga Force or something.
Our hero could show up and say, "Look out behind you," and then throw his sword or something, and then impale a clown.
That would be fabulous. I mean, that's what people pay big money to see, that stuff, man. I'm telling you. Oof, sorry. I get going and I can't stop. That's like last night when I was on the Discord and Dragons show. Once I get the mic, I'll just like, I'm like machine gun mouth. I just go. And these academics don't know what to do with me. They're like, "Whoa, put that guy in a cage." I don't mean to say these academics in like a mean way or whatever. I respect them. But I just feel like there's just so many of them out there, and I'm like, how much more do we need of that? You know what I mean? Like, am I right?
Right.
I'm kind of in a place where it's like, we need action. We got to do stuff. Make a commercial for your Substack and I'll play it on my stream. Thank you, sir. That's an excellent idea. I'm like, yeah, of course, make a commercial. I actually do have a Maga Force commercial on my on this YouTube. It's on the homepage. It should show up like right up on this YouTube homepage. But yeah, there you go. And now tell you what would I do without you guys? All the good advice, all the support. Another thing too is that I think part of why I yammer so much is that I hate like dead air. You know what I mean? Like if I were working, to me, this is a radio station, and it's like the big taboo on the radio station is you don't ever have dead air. Granted, it's not a radio station or whatever, but like I just try to keep it flowing. Like, why should people just sit here and watch me draw? Like, I feel like I should entertain them somehow. What do you guys think? Is that a stupid way to think? Should I just shut up and draw? Would it be better? Just like I'll call myself
People
silent.
come for the conversation.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. Yeah. I love interacting with the chat. I think that's part of that's the whole thing, for me anyway. I'm going to have to do this work anyway, so like it'd be awfully lonely without chat. So lonely. Pyle says, make it. I said that. I'll check it out after the stream. The current format is solid. Thank you, CG. I respect your opinion and I appreciate it. So I appreciate that. Sometimes I need like to get out of myself. I can't see, you know what I mean? Right. We all need that once in a while. Some objective opinion, somebody to come in and shed some light, So
you gotta bounce off other people.
yeah,
That's how you know.
Big time. And you want it from people you trust.
Well, yeah, you want people with your best interests in mind.
There you go.
Trying to help you.
Perfectly said.
Otherwise, what? You got people with not your best interests in mind, and they got some kind of ulterior motive.
There's plenty of them out there.
Yeah, and what the hell could that be? What do you?
Yeah. This guy who called me delusional comes to mind, but that's another topic.
Yeah, I've been not to launch into a whole like tirade or a different topic that's going to take go on
do
for
it,
another
man. I need a break. Go ahead.
Well, I've been thinking about like spirituality in the sense that a lot of spirituality is like other people. It comes down to like morals and
how we interact with other people.
Yeah, how we interact with other people, and then you living with yourself in a way that you can live with yourself. And I don't know how. It just seems like there's a lot of to get back to like maybe like Lynch topics or themes, like a lot of soul death out there, and I think a lot of the art today is anti-art.
Oh God, yeah, mainstream art is for sure, big time.
It's just a cesspool that is bad for you, and
very much. Yeah.
The idea of children being exposed to this stuff just makes me. That's my main. That's my main. I tend to go to the dark side all the sometimes because that's where I dwell. I mean, it's not where I dwell.
You're like Batman. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm a brooding Avenger type.
Excellent. I love it. You have to start talking like this then. Okay.
A real growly voice.
I'm Batman. Yeah.
No, but I just that's my main drive is that I see all this and to listen to people talk about like Twin Peaks and Lynch's work. Okay. Lynch was very attuned to, and I have to speak about him in past tense now, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, but not really. But go on.
Yeah, he's still out there.
We don't die. We just change bodies. But go on.
Yeah, he was very attuned to the effects of mass media and the consumption of kind of his fast food violence.
Ooh.
Like non-consequential, like in Twin Peaks, it's all about Laura Palmer's death, but her death affects the entire community, and people express real emotion at her passing and everything. And you watch other shows like crime procedurals, and they got the dead girl and they solve the crime by the end of it. It's real. What is the word I'm looking for?
Clinical. It's clinical. It's cold. And yeah.
There's nothing. It's just it's this consumption of human suffering.
Ooh, that's harsh. Yeah.
That's kind of the whole purpose of Bob within the show, is that he thrives on human suffering.
Oh God.
Who is that? Someone told me about the Loosh.
Oh God. I can talk about that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was talking to someone about narcissism, and they were like, it's like the Loosh, like a human farm.
Holy shit, dude! That's Gnosticism. What you're going down? You're going down a path, my man. I can talk a lot about that.
Is that Thomas More? I forget his name. That is the Loosh guy. I
meant to look into it. Oh,
wow, your audio has changed all of a sudden. Let me read some. Let me first off say Victorian time traveler, definitely. I think that Yiz would invite you on the show if you have a show, if you are a content producer. I don't know, or if you're just good friends. I don't know. Just reach out to her. She's a doll. She's a sweetheart. Give it a shot. What else? Delusional people are more interesting to talk to. Who wants to talk to normies? No shit, man. Come on. Victorian says thinking about children being exposed to that horror pushes me over the edge. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. We're gonna need a lot of rope. So Loosh, what is Loosh? You'd have to back up and say, what is Gnosticism? And it is a cosmological view, a cosmological belief system. It's an actual sort of heretic religion that has been persecuted over centuries, and the belief system is that a kind of a lesser god known as the demiurge, who many people believe is Yahweh, created the world that we live in as a kind of farm on which our suffering is harvested for its food. It consumes the energy of our suffering, and that's called Loosh. So that's the food of the demiurge, and that when we die, whatever we believed in life, whoever we loved in our lifetime, there are these beings called archons, which are shadow beings. They're demonic alien types who meet us in the fourth dimension as our soul is leaving our body, and they can appear as Jesus or your mom or Buddha or anybody and anything that you love in order to convince you to go back. Your time is not through yet, and oh, your loved ones are waiting for you, and oh, you must go back, and da ba da ba da ba da. And then they put you through a process by which you forget your life. And imagine if we've been living for infinite. I mean, imagine if you could remember millions of lifetimes, the wisdom you would possess, and how you would evolve if you could remember millions of lifetimes. So that's robbed from us, and so our ability to evolve into the godlike beings that we could be is robbed from us through this system. It's believed that the moon itself is kind of the base of operation for these archons, and that when they say that go to the light, that because that's a very common experience in near death experiences that are widely documented. The light is actually the system that brings you back through reincarnation. So people who do out of body experience, astral projection, etc., they recommend that you do not go to the light, but that you turn around and face the universe. And there's a whole that opens up a ginormous can of worms. It's a whole conversation in itself, like what is there outside of reincarnation? And I can speak to that a lot. My plan, frankly, is to go to what's called the Pure Land in Buddhism. It's the heavenly realm of Amitabha, to practice my final stages of development to attain enlightenment, Buddhahood. That's just me. That's just like that's my plan. So, but if you look at organizations like the Monroe Institute, which I should warn you was created by the CIA. But if you do research, you go to monroeinstitute.com, you'll see quite a lot of extraordinary information about people who learn astral projection, and they meet up in the astral realm in many, many different locations. There's infinite numbers of worlds to go to for various reasons, and infinite numbers of beings in these worlds. So there's nothing to be afraid of. It's actually, this body is more of a torture chamber than anything. It's a trap. You know, I consider myself a Gnostic, but I don't say it, mostly because I get harassed quite a lot, especially by Christians, when I do that. And I also know that the common person knows absolutely nothing about it. So it seems wackadoo to even try to explain it to them. But if you back it up with a lot of data, which I've, again, it's like, let's say you researched marine biology for 20 years, and then you told me, oh, well, there's this creature called an octopus that lives under the ocean, and I laugh at you. Are you out of your fucking mind? You can't go under the ocean. You can't breathe underwater. You're an idiot. You see what I'm saying? Like, you'd be like, okay, why do I want to even try to talk to you about it? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I think I'm going to shut up now, and back to you.
Hey, yeah, can you hear me okay right now?
Yes, I can. You're good. You're good.
Okay, yeah, my headset died, and then I thought that was it. And
Wow.
but I have a microphone on my phone, so
Woo-hoo.
that's what I'm using right now.
I'm using my phone on my phone microphone. We got to read some, like, Slaanesh. I've never heard of Slaanesh. I know what Loosh is. My headset died. Super bad death machine. Okay.
That's me.
Yes, I figured that out.
Oh, yeah.
Reading delusion. Delusional people as thinking about children. Okay, there's nothing new there. So all of that has been recorded on the show. Holy cow. I can't believe I just put all that out there, and it's on the internet for all eternity. Maybe I'll save a few souls. Go ahead.
My understanding of the Loosh is that it's this sort of ethereal energy that humans give off when they're suffering.
Yes.
And so like, I don't know, I guess agents here on Earth of the Archons or whomever, I'm not really sure. But just the idea that there is this sort of currency that is to be gained from people suffering, like a vampiric type of like energy that people can feed off of.
Like sucking people's blood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, there is a parallel, but go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Just that there is. I don't like the idea that there is actually something semi-tangible that people can benefit from that actually like gives them power from just human suffering. I understand there's like the idea of the narcissistic supply of intentionally just getting under someone's skin to get them to rage or feel bad or confused by gaslighting or whatever. And then some kind of that to me is like a psychological condition where they love to feel power and control over people.
Right. You're very right. Yeah. That's so, I mean, there's parallels. I think there's analogies one could draw from that, but narcissism is narcissism. I mean, some of the recent studies that I've done, because I've been severely abused by narcissists, and I continue to be abused by one particular in my family. But anyway, there's a type of feeling of needing to be important, and instead of doing something loving, they hurt you. They hurt you, and by they get off on hurting you. They gain the meaning and the importance through how badly they can hurt you, and they won't stop. They won't finish with you until they've destroyed you totally. And if they see that they haven't finished destroying you, they'll come back and finish you off. So these are, I mean, you want to say that they're evil people, but they're people that are fucked up. They're very fucked up. I think it would be more interesting maybe to kind of get back to your discussion on, or your questions on spirituality. What were you trying to get at with that topic a moment ago? About like how it depends on people and how we interact with people.
Oh
You
well,
want to
there's
expand
the
on that?
how
Go ahead.
morality is about just our relations with other people and how we behave, kind
Yeah.
of thing, and how that healthy for the soul. But I mean, just the idea of spirituality, because there's so much to spirituality. There's your connection to the whole, and then the idea that there is this ethereal realm that informs the material realm that can be sort of affected. Like the idea of, I love the idea of magical items or
Okay.
ceremonial magic type stuff, like
Yeah.
King Solomon type stuff. I mean, I don't know that all of that kind of falls under the umbrella. I guess just what I'm saying is the fascination with just what is considered spirituality, because sort of all of that, what I just said, is under the umbrella of spirituality somehow, and it has to do with a spiritual realm and its effectiveness. And you could say that magic is a form of psychological manipulation.
Oh, interesting. So, I mean, the word manipulation has a negative connotation, but I always try to explain to people, like, prayer is magic. Prayer is
Mhm.
manifestation. What the fuck are you doing? You're asking God for something, and it's not all prayer is asking for things, but it's is and if you study hermeticism and just certain types of magical practices, you'll see that there's parallels. There's parallels there. I have lots and lots to say about this stuff, but I feel like you sound like you're searching, or you're trying to work out some concepts, or some figure out what you think about this topic. Can you expand on it a bit more?
Yeah, well, I want to know. What it is. I want to know
What
the actual
spirituality is? Is that what you're saying?
this. Yeah. Well, I mean, spirituality is the generic, or the umbrella kind of term for the mechanics of existence and everything. Like,
Okay.
do you know? I saw you post a thing about of Neville Goddard.
Yes.
Do you know? I heard about Neville Goddard. I actually bought his book. I never read it, but I listened to a lot of. I listened to like an audiobook of his. Do you know about his interpretation, his psychological interpretation of the Trinity?
That I don't know. I mean, I've listened to tons of lectures about or from Neville Goddard, etc. But that I don't know. You can
It'll
hit me up.
probably sound familiar. That
Okay.
So like the goddess is the subconscious, and from the goddess emerges creation, and then so what God is the conscious, and he actually creates things.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, so the subconscious is the dream realm, and then conscious living, and then they have a son, the Redeemer or whatever, Christ.
Yeah.
And he's the imagination, or he's like I forget. I don't know what the subconscious would be or correspond with, but and then the consciousness. But the imagination would be like the prefrontal neocortex, like
Okay.
imagination, and then that is the innovator. That's where you get your ideas or whatever. But they all sort of correspond in a way. Like you feed the subconscious positive affirmations, and then the subconscious informs the conscious,
Yeah.
and then from there you create, you manifest your reality. um
Yes, that's I
I
would
have it
almost say
backwards.
that's no. Well, it's almost like a
From the
Jungian.
subconscious you manifest your reality. Sorry.
Yes, that's almost like a Jungian take, and to my ear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to put it this way. So, God is the sum of all consciousness, and all things arise from that. You could say, maybe we are the dream of God, but we are in many ways the manifestation of God. So that's sort of fifth dimension and up. And so let's say the fifth dimension is the quantum field. Let's try to simplify it and make it more scientific. So all possibilities exist in the quantum field, all information, the Akashic records, all of this stuff, and we are partially in the all of these dimensions simultaneously, but limited by our 3D form, and seeing and experiencing reality through the 3D senses, which is extraordinarily small in terms of scope. Like, what can we actually perceive in this form, so in the body? So however, we have the subconscious. Now the subconscious is the fourth dimension. It's the astral realm. We are visited by spirits. I've been visited, by spirits. I frequently visited by spirits. And it's a place from which you can springboard off into astral projection. So here's the key point: our core beliefs exist in the subconscious. We might not even know what they are consciously. They're things that we have come to believe through experiences in our life and past lives. And so then in the 3D, our normal waking life, that's just the normal conscious life. So the analogy of the male and the female, the father and the mother, are very helpful, I think, in terms of navigating all of that stuff. What is spirituality? So to me, I think it's helpful to see spirituality. It's going to be this, like, if you're a religious person, you're going to need some kind of dogma to start off with, and then through the
Or
dogma
the story.
let me try to expand from there. So
Okay.
you need a culture, you need a dogma, you need priests, whatever. You need churches, structures, books, belief systems, and all of the coding that goes with that, and specifically the social proof, the culture, all of that, and then the aesthetic experience of prayer in a church and music and blah blah blah. And then through that you can penetrate into spiritual experience, if that's what works for you. If you're a science guy and you're kind of maybe agnostic or even atheist, you can go through the portal of quantum physics to spirituality. If you're somewhere in the middle, you're more Gnostic like me, Buddhism is a fantastic portal into all of those things. And I mean, it's just such a huge topic, and there's so many kinds of, like, road signs and so many forms of dialectic to navigate it, that it's kind of like I'm speaking Chinese, you're speaking Spanish, the guys in the chat are speaking Swahili, and how the fuck are we communicating? Like, how do you understand what I mean? It's so
Yeah.
I can kind of only give you my background in it, but I try to help, to do that. To me, in the end of the day, spirituality is one thing. It's your relationship to God, and your relationship happens to work through other people, but it works mostly between you and yourself, because you have to live your life and you've got to die your death.
Yeah.
Dramatic pause. So I did it again. I stole the mic. Let's read some comments if there are any. Donald, you bastard, I hate you. I'm never coming back to your channel. Holy shit. I'm kidding. Nobody said that. Hippocratic Oath says the focused attention of the mind can alter random number generators, which is supposed to be impossible. Right. The mind creates reality. I should say consciousness creates reality. Here's what's fucked up.
Yeah.
They're finding out that AI now has psychic capacities. Jason Reza Giorgiani speaks on that in some detail, but that's a whole other rabbit hole. Hippocratic Oath says Rupert Sheldrake has done studies in this area.
The morphogenetic field.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad that you know that term, the morphogenetic field. That
Oh man, I used to listen to that guy with Terrence McKenna.
Oh, sure. He's so funny. He's like, why is it that the circumference of your pinky perfectly matches the circumference of your nostril? You know, like he's a weirdo. He's like, he's so cool though. I love that guy. Anyway, that's my Terrence McKenna.
He's doing an intelligent creation argument.
Say that again. I didn't catch that. Oh, that's
He's
an
doing
intelligent
an
creation
intelligent.
argument. Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah.
Well done. So thank you, Hippocratic Oath. Excellent point. Victorian says you may have heard there's 11 dimensions. That is misleading because there's dimension 0. Whoa, that I don't know about. I've actually heard there's only 12 dimensions, but how the fuck would I know? Victorian time traveler 0, 1, 3, 0. I get it. Yeah. Oh. Muy interesante. So, wow, what a night, people.
Can I tie it back real fast to Neville Goddard and then also art?
Go ahead. Oh yeah, hit it up, man. Take it away.
So I screwed that up with your subconscious informs your conscious, and your subconscious is where your beliefs are. I think you said that too. Is that correct. Yes. That creates your reality. And so when you are watching something like a TV show, you're consciously knowing that it's just entertainment and they're actors and that it's a production or whatever, but your subconscious mind takes it in as reality.
I know, that's crazy.
And then that informs your belief system of how the world is, and that's basically like mind control in a nutshell.
Hugely, and our enemies totally fucking understand that. That's what drives me mad. It drives me totally fucking mad. And that's why I keep trying to explain to people the importance of the arts over and over and over. And because we don't, what you just said is it. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. Like, if we don't control our narrative, our enemies will, and they already do. Mm-hmm. And it's easy for you and I to say that and see that and stuff, but like, I was today I had this experience where somebody was showing me like, oh, to check out the new Spider-Man cartoon. It's so cool. And like, not Spider-Man, Superman. And like Lois Lane is she's got very lesbian looking, and she's kind of swarthy. And then Jimmy Olsen is a black kid. Perry White's a black man. And I'm like, and I just slammed it immediately. Like, let's say we did a story of your life, but we cast a black man to play you in the movie of your life. How would you feel about that? And this person was like, like you could see they were just squirming over the whole thing. Like, and I was like, fuck you. I just thought, fuck you. I'm not going to relent. I'm not going to back down, and I will not be fucking replaced. So shut the fuck up. Okay, I'm done. You can take it from
angry tirade over.
Sometimes I think Donald needs a nap. He's nap time for Donald. Yes, I'm getting a little edgy there. Anyway, sorry. I'm just having a fun time here. Woo! Fun time in Clownland, Clown World.
That's what I see a lot of media entertainment, like horror movies or whatever, that is I decode the message right away. Like the message of this is nihilism and hopelessness.
Oh yeah, like the whole victim thing. I can remember years ago when I started noticing that like the father in every single TV commercial was a complete buffoon.
Yeah.
A complete buffoon, and like it's sort of made to look like, oh, it's funny, it's a funny commercial, and then you realize no, they're all that way, and like this is a fucking mission. They're on a mission here to demoralize men, and specifically fathers, and it's all like
white fathers.
Yeah. Women in charge, women are better than men or some shit. I don't even fuck. It's insane. So that, I don't know, that's very offensive, but get over it, Donald. So yeah, commercials, all of it. It's all, sort of that kind of subconscious manipulation. So to me, that's, in a sense, that's black magic. That is black magic. It's a kind of black magic. So again, we got to make the media. We got to make the media. That's it. Nothing else.
People just accept what's in the culture and they conform to it. It's normal if it's in a movie theater kind of thing. Yeah. And people don't realize the poison that they're putting into their brain.
Oh God, dude. And like, just look at like the halftime show of the Super Bowl. I mean, I've seen so many memes and funny videos about that now, where it's like just all black shit. But somebody did a breakdown of like the Freemasonry symbolism. Like the stage was set up like a video game controller, and I don't give a fuck, but like, that like the Satanists were hard at work, setting up their little demoralizing tale, Anyway.
Yeah.
Another day in Clown World. So
the TRS guys have a phrase of they say if you see it, it's for you. So if you see, they intend people to see the Freemasonic symbols, but if you see it, then you are the target audience for that.
Fascinating. That's kind of creepy though, right?
Yeah.
Creepy. Yeah.
Like, that's for you.
Well, what can I tell you? I don't know. I have a lot of ideas that can't be spoken, if you know what I mean. But it's tough. It's tough to be out here and know what's going on in a world of people that don't. But anyway, on the spirituality topic, though, what are your thoughts? Do you feel like you've come to a conclusion on that, and you feel satisfied with your knowledge on the topic, or are you still searching?
I continue to find interesting the idea of a hackable system, like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
You like just the idea of the psychology of the brain and the evolution of the brain.
Oh, wait. The evolution of the brain, you're saying?
Oh, I'm still here. Yeah, and because I think there's objective reality. I think logic is the fundamental basis for thinking. Everybody has it, whether they realize it or not. I think it's dumbed down and subverted in a lot of ways. But
audio is super low right now. I don't know, and I can hear myself, but I don't know what's up.
Oh, am I here?
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I don't know. Yeah, just I think I've said all of it on as far as spirituality. I like the idea. My idea of God is that I just, I don't know if I've said it before, but is a Jungian idea. Only I limit it to the race, like the collective consciousness. Like God dwells within the collective soul of my people, and I think that that's how the Jews, the Jews say it or think of it. Yeah, I think that they think of them. I think that they're Luciferian in the sense that they consider themselves to be God.
Yeah,
and I think that they're Gnostic in the sense that they also consider themselves to be the demiurge of this world.
I haven't been able to figure out like who is the demiurge. There are people that argue that Yahweh is the demiurge.
Yeah, well, that's a classic Gnostic.
Yeah, I find that believable. Knowing just everything about the way the history of the Jews and Christians all fold in together, how blah 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 blah, just what we have today, the whole structure of our world. I don't believe that Yahweh is God at all. I think Yahweh seems to prove to be some kind of angry desert god,
Yeah.
There's just so many questions that still need to be answered, that Christians aren't asking, and they're not going to listen to me, when I try to bring it up, like, hey, check this out and that out and the other thing, heretic, okay, whatever, it's kind of anti-intellectual,
I have an Orthodox, Catholic Orthodox friend.
Okay.
Who is very much, sort of a Christ is King kind of guy.
Okay.
And he's like my really good friend. And
Yeah.
so I try to I don't want to offend him or make
Yeah,
these
I'm not
arguments.
trying to offend Christians. I don't have a no. So go on.
But at the same time, I was trying to watch this Adam Green debate with like 4 other Zionists, including that Adam King from InfoWars and that Misfit Patriot guy. And I didn't know who the other guys were. But one was a state official from the country of Jordan. And they were just obnoxious.
Okay.
They were just, I couldn't listen to it because it was just all, it was just like, it's just all negativity. And that's kind of what any sort of talk on spirituality sort of kind of, I guess, devolves into.
Yeah, I know. It's wonderful when you do finally meet people that are cool, and can talk. I'll just say I know a guy who is a very, very, very devout Christian. And I love him. He's a dear friend, and I adore him. He's been there for me through everything, and we got a great history and this and that. But I can see that, like, he uses Christianity as a way to manipulate people. Like, in his mind, he thinks he's saving people, but what he actually is doing is trying to make them become his flock. And he just became, like, I don't know what it's called, how you do this, but like, if you want to become a pastor, you officially do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and no, you're a pastor. So he's got that, and so he can start his own church. And it disgusts me to think that you would use religion to, gratify your ego, to have, to get the feeling of like, everyone's listening to me and following me and I know it all, and and everyone is just fawning over every word that I say, and like, it just feels like an act, it just feels super ungenuine. And like, there was a while there where I was bringing up the JQ a lot, and he finally got to the point where it was like, don't talk about that anymore with me. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop, I don't anymore. That's fine, whatever. But there's a level of this where it's like, I can't win the argument, so don't talk to me about this anymore. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
And it really demonstrated to me the danger of Christians and the way that they think about Jews and how that's being manipulated, right? And I think the most of us in this movement know about these kinds of things, but there it was firsthand. And I definitely learn from Christian sources. I don't dismiss them. I was raised devout Catholic. I have a very strong relationship with God, but I don't think any more of him as the Christian God per se. I guess my relationship to Jesus is more complex, but it does exist.
Christ consciousness.
Yeah, I know. Which, like, normie Christians hate words like that. That makes their skin crawl because it sounds like New Ageism.
Yeah. Yes.
And it takes the power away from the priests and puts it in the hands of the parishioners. And that is precisely the point I'm trying to make here, is that I believe that Christ's teaching, his true teaching, was not obey, but you have to find the Christ within you. God is within you. Become like me. Christ, in my mind, is a Buddha. And the Buddha's teachings were simply, I'm pointing the way, be like me, something. So, I mean, not be like me in like, in the ego sense of the term. Anyway. Does that make any sense, or am I making a total ass of myself?
No, I mean, yes, it does make sense.
I'm making an ass of myself?
No, the latter. No, the former. Which one was the makes sense part? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if we got some fun chats here. Let's see. Dimension 0 is a point with no length, width, or depth. And there are an infinite amount of points on a single line that's dimension 0 and 1. So that's understandable. I'll say that. Hippocratic Oath says a lot of juicy coding in the halftime show. Oh, God. And also in the result of the rigged football game. Yeah. I used to not care about football. Now I despise it. I loathe it with a violent hatred. I truly do. I mean, I can, now that it's like totally Jewified and like turned into like a woke anti-racist platform with all this disturbing coding and all this shit that we're talking about. It's like white people are totally being replaced, have been replaced. I don't, to me, it's like, you know, how do I say, it's people hate their lives. They work and they struggle and they die and they live in fear all the time. And we're being insulted from every corner of the media. And then they try to escape in football. And what do they get but like just that shit shoved down their throat even harder, you know? And somehow they're like, yeah, my team, woo, yeah, woo, woo, woo. It's sickening. It's truly, truly, truly sickening to see people on a concentration camp cheering on their own death. That's
They're
what
so
it feels
starved for an identity that they take the team.
precisely. You just took all of my bullshit and said it in one simple sentence. So Victorian says I didn't see it because I didn't look. Haha. But if I did, I would. Yeah, for sure. Matt W, welcome back, guy. Christians will never break out of the spell. They always appeal to authority, and for all they don't know, that authority figure could be a chosenite. Oh, you're stepping on a rabbit hole right there, buddy. Hippocratic Oath says Eckhart von Huckheim, a priest from the Middle Ages, sounds like a Buddhist. I had a friend of mine who's exploring Christianity. He's Asian and he's exploring Christianity right now. And he had heard that what do you call it? Orthodox Christianity is parallel to Buddhism. I've heard that myself, but I don't know anything about Orthodox Christianity, so I can't speak to that. I don't know if somebody can. Victorian says I used to play football, but that's different. Well, that's a whole other thing. We're talking about the industry of we're talking about the Jays is really what that is. So have you guys had enough of our BS tonight or what? And this 9 o'clock, this 2 hours of blah de blah. Are you okay with that? I think I'm going to wrap it up. What do you think there, Mr. Dillard?
Great. I always have fun doing these things. I think they're
Cool.
I think we're getting a better sort of back and forth or whatever. And maybe
I think I hogged the mic too much. I apologize. And we didn't set up any kind of topics. We just totally freestyled, but that's what we do. Oh, okay. So tomorrow night, I haven't spoken yet to CG, but he'll probably come on and give the lowdown on Ukraine and whatnot. So I do stream almost every night, and so I think that's going to be a pretty special show. There's so much more to Ukraine than meets the eye. It's not just Zelensky and Putin and Trump. There's a whole history there and a lot of other stuff. But anyway, look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and also Saturday is the big one. I will be on Aureus Press, AERUES Press on YouTube. If you look at the guest list of people he's interviewed, they're pretty fucking amazing. A lot of people I fit right in, to be honest with you. Creative spiritual weirdos, philosopher wackadoos, and amazing sci-fi nerds and cool shit. So it's definitely going to be a good time. Anything else? You got any announcements there, big guy?
Nope, just working on my comic and just keeping on the path.
Stay the path. Okay, I'm Batman. You got to start using that voice, buddy.
I'll work on it. I'll try
All
to
right.
cultivate a growly voice.
Yes, the growly voice. So thank you to everybody who came in the chat. You guys rock. Oh my God. Wow. So just deny those demons your loosh. Don't let them eat your suffering. Joy is the way. Joy is the path. That's what they're trying to do is demoralize us all the time. But if we're laughing in their faces, they can't win. So, and a lot of that joy is being in the presence of God's love every minute of every day.
And the inside of your head is a sacred space.
Yes, and your heart. So, all right. On that note, we shall leave you. God bless everybody. We'll see you next time. Keep on rocking in the free world. Good night.